We are having sort of a split fight. They are split between the Dragon and the Fight. They should just take the fight.
Did they know the Twitch is here? Twitch is going to spray and pray. Think he's going to be able to kill the Mordekaiser. Surely? Dead. Nice, there it happens.
Brazil
oh, look where the Twitch is. Look where he is, though. He's going to kill this Ari easily. They just don't know he's there.
Killing off screen.
Yeah, for real. It's going to go down. Mel here, Caitlyn doing the rest of the fight. But again, the Twitch comes from nowhere. He's crazy.
For the side, we're going to see J4 go right in. The ult comes up, the Cataclysm comes out. They're all fighting in the middle. Not as caught in betwixt them all. The Superman Deathhawker does come out and then I'm getting knocked back. However, Olaf is on that backline, taking a lot of damage. Sevilla will fall, Jinx will fall. But this Olaf, he's taking them all back.
He just want to be for them. Okay, naturally, I guess.
Safety. Jinx is on the other side of this wall. If they can keep, I was gonna say, if they can keep him safe. Okay, he went hella aggressive there. He's gonna get 2 kills. He's gonna go for the 3rd kill. He's gonna go for the 4th kill. Help the best stole his Penta. Quadra kill here for Cookie. To be fine here. Meanwhile, Zeus is gonna be fighting Swaros on the top side, and that's gonna be a no! Victor stole the Nash.
Oh my god. But the difference between it's not going to be enough because he comes back around for the drive-by. Bloody, that's going to be a hell of a clip.
It's, it's like it's more of a rare occasion if it does happen. Just like a 3-man Bard ult coming out. Holy moly, in goes Neela as well. Look at the 4-man pull. Holy moly, the cutters are absolutely getting slaughtered and getting sent to the butchers. Clean ace.
Below on gold, it's going to be really hard for you to do the Baron here. Shreds your resistances. And we see 5DK are wrapping around. They're going to have to leave it, but it's on 3K. That means 5DK can just start it. It's very close to being stolen. They're going to just take this. Red team do get it. That's so unfortunate. And now the team fight begins. And JP's in the wrong place. He's going to get collapsed on. What can they even do here? Huey's going to run. Sejuani just going to watch his AP carry get popped. And he just has to run behind the turret and pray.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MiniLCS Winter Open. This is 2026. God, my mind is blank because of, look at these new graphics. Look at that. Oh, that's a nice background. I have to say so myself. This is the League of Shat Up. I am your production overlord, Dark Lord Aaron, and today we have Jazz with Gas versus Dillamond Esports. A hard stuck heroes bracket game, week 2 game. Thank God for that. But we're gonna skip through quick because draft has probably started. So we're gonna go over to our casters, and today we have in the chair your boy from Team Zenith. We have Chuba, and with him we have Beto, that's it. So, welcome, gents.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong thing.
That's not us.
That's not us. No, this is. There you go. See, I just wanted to show you the trailer again.
There we go. We're back. Welcome to the show, folks. We have a hell of a series here, don't we, Beto? This is going to be such a fun one.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup. Both teams really like to play a little off meta, like to squeeze in some cheesy picks. So I'm hoping they're going to give us an interesting show and an interesting experience.
Well, that's just it. We're week 2 now. One of these teams is riding high after a very solid 2-0 last week, while the other one, they're looking for a bounce back. This bracket, especially the hard stock, this is our most congested bracket with so many different brackets. If they don't start winning, they could be looking at fighting a losing battle to try and get into those playoffs already.
I mean, isn't that a reality for every game? You're here for a competition, you want to win.
Well, that's it. But in this bracket, the competition is there doubly so. I don't know, if the production overlord, do we have lineups for today? No, we don't. We don't. Well, let's just talk through some of these teams then. You know, let's start with the side. Let's start with the side of Dillamand. You know, the team that is 2-0. They are the team in the ascendancy, and they're led by the. I was about to say fearless captain, but I'm pretty sure when it comes to jungle objectives, he's very fearful. Day 0. But we're going to jump straight into draft, and we see the Jinx and Aurora getting banned away from Dillamond, and Karma, J4 and Smolder for Jazz with Gas. Thoughts on these bans so far?
So far, pretty much everything is standard. The Karma might be a little interesting, as well as the Smolder. Probably Jazz doesn't want to interact with long-range lanes. Jarvan being an all-in, considering that he likes to play with Orianna, a really solid champ this season. Nothing out of the ordinary so far.
Well, that's a Misfortune banning another solid ADC always. That's 2 ADC bans, and we're not even in the first round, and they're going to come straight in with a Sivir.
Yeah, we already have 3 ADCs banned, so the battle for the good ones is going to be starting to shrink off. There is still some really solid options. The problem is maybe you don't want to show your cards soon. Whether you want to show like a more aggressive lane, like a more passive lane. So far, the Sivir are good all around. You have good wave clear if you have to play on the weak side. You have good scaling, some support with the ultimate. Nothing revealing your strategy so far.
And we are seeing the Nefiri coming through. Do we think this is a jungle, or do we think this is in the mid lane?
That's a really good question. Nefiri has been having a little bit of a comeback into the mid lane due to the new items. But if I had to guess, I would say it's probably going to be played on the jungle.
Day 0 on the Nefiri, that would be something. And we are going to see the Kaiser getting locked in here for Magics in the bot lane. A solid pick, especially into the Sivir. 2 very, very hyper-scaly ADCs.
And a lot of aggression. You have the Killer Instinct on the Kai'Sa. Zafiri is also a champion who likes to go forward. This gives Jazz the opportunity to play something more disengaging oriented. If you want some tanks that frontline in front of you, keeping the distance to the assassins, that could be a complicated situation for Dillamond. Oliver is one of those champions who can receive engage. He is really tanky, hard to kill, point and click CC, is never gonna miss.
I mean, I've played with some great volley bears in my time, and I know how powerful that champion can be. As we see the Bard coming in for the side of Jazz with Gas, I always have a very love and hate relationship with Bard. I love to have him on my team, but hate to play against him. But trying to find a solid Bard player is so hard. How do you like the Bard Alistair matchup?
You have double range against melee range, so it's generally going to be favorable for Jazz. Also, Sivir and Bar are 2 heavy poke champions. Kai'Sa being a champion who is a little more middle range oriented. It's going to be a little complicated for Dillamond to keep up the Hellbars. Even with Alistar passive, that does keep you a little top up as you keep farming, as you keep killing those minions. You're gonna be low on HP and you're gonna be vulnerable to ganks. And most importantly, if you have a team that wants to engage, you cannot engage if you're half HP. I mean, you can, but it's suicide.
Well, that's
so the proposition. Oh, sorry.
No, so that's exactly it. You know, they have to be very careful of using these health bars as resources in this bot lane. As we see the Ambessa and the Syndra bans coming out as we go into the final round of bans.
Yeah, Syndra being another champion that can poke you out, another champion that can disengage if you engage into her. Remember, Alistar is not unstoppable when dashing forward, Nefiri is not unstoppable when dashing forward, so you can push them out of their own engage, and you're left waiting for a cooldown while your HP just keeps going low and low.
That's it. The last couple of bans coming in, we see the Xerath from Dillamond. Obviously very wary of long-range poke mages. They can be so oppressive in that mid lane, especially right now. And the Olaf being the final ban, so definitely we're worried about that top side, as we are going to see the Orianna pushing this Nefiri what we think is to the jungle. I'm intrigued. I can't wait to see D0 on this. I really can't.
Yeah, that Olaf was particularly towards Dillerman. They had to face a similar team the other day. I was casting it. And they also went against a team that relied on a front lane heavy CC, and Olaf just went to party.
And we are going to see a Hui coming through. Now, I know for a fact Dillerman would like to have had that Hui. But I think the Orianna is a fairly safe pick. You know, they got a lot of targets to put onto the bombs. Out of the box, they put the Neferi top lane and bring in a Nocturne here. Very, very spicy comp. But that would be an interesting way to do it, no?
If you had to bring the Nocturne, yes, he is unstoppable and he can deliver the Orianna ult really quickly. But the problem is that you will have to flex the Neferi. Neferi can work as a top laner, but I don't see that working. Not especially if you're gonna have to fight a Volibear or a Tahm Kench.
Yeah, Tahm Kench, and one of these these kind of champions that if he can get any kind of, you know, income sorted and get a reliable source, he's gonna be so powerful. And we are gonna see a Zahen. Okay, we're bringing in the another 200 years champ, the new H. Oh no, we're going Darius.
I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Darius is a solid. No, we're going back to Aatrox 2.0. Yep, Aatrox 2.0 with a revive. Thoughts on these comps?
You mean Aatrox? You mean Aatrox 1.0?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, so this is the old Aatrox. The new Aatrox is some kind of jungle monster at the moment.
Sahin is an amazing pick here. You have that unstoppable dash that I was talking about for delivering the Orianna ult. The Orianna ult also helps him gather people around him. Most of Sahin's abilities are AoE. The more people he gets to hit with them, the faster he gets to charge his passive. That gives him more AD. It allows him to revive like the old Aatrox used to do. That's Sahin completing the team. It's one of the best picks you're gonna have. The other option was probably a Set. Set would have loved to fight at Tahm Kench, and you also have that unstoppable initiation. But Sahin is gonna be amazing here, and I've been waiting to see Sahin being played in the whole tournament. So far, I never had the luxury of casting one of those games.
Yeah, I've seen a few Zahens in this tournament, and it's been quite interesting to see. And I'm looking forward to seeing how we're going to see Thula play this. I know Thula from a certain other server, and he's a very, very solid top laner. You know, reliable, does the job he's always needed to. And to be fair, the whole side of Element, they're all apart from the jungler, is reliable. T0 would be reliable if he knew what a smite was. Whereas on the other side, you know, their ADC Bra's Impact, again, very, very reliable player. And yeah, I'm just intrigued to see how this matchup goes. Because it could go either way.
If I had to say something, I'll say I like Dillerman composition a little more. It's more aggressive. It's more in your face. Yes, Jazz has a decent amount of protection, especially with Tahm Kench being drafted at the end. But the Hui and the Sivir are going to be your main sources of damage. Tahm Kench and Oliver are not particularly too damage oriented. Once the Sivir and the Hui are dead, you cannot stop that Sahin. And Kai'Sa is going to shred through the Bolly and the Tahm Kench. So if Dillerman manages to do a good play, manages to catch one of those champions off guard, they have the entire team fight on their pocket.
Well, only time will tell before we get into this game. How many other games have you seen in this series? Because there's been quite a few good series we've seen across the divisions.
You mean seen or cast?
We've just seen. You know, obviously I know you've casted a few now, but there's been that many other games across this last couple of weeks. This last week or so even.
Oh, I had a decently complicated week, so I haven't managed to tune in every single game. I had already watched like 5 series without considering the ones I cast. I casted 2 already and watched about 5.
Nice. That's a solid.
Yeah.
That's a solid set. I mean, I've done a lot of the production for some of these on the B streams. So I've been lucky enough to witness quite a lot of these games, and obviously played a series myself against the Dark Lord. That was a fun one. And yeah, no, it's been a good tournament so far. You know, this is, I think, the third tournament I've been part of. You know, whether we go back to the days of the Tempo Flash, you know, last series, you know, this is one of these tournaments that will always throw up some surprises. You never know what's going to happen. And I think that's exactly what we're in store for today.
I mean, I am someone who enjoys watching league games, but the problem is that once you start watching the LCK, the LCS, the game is too soft. Pro players on the highest level have analyzed the game so much that, you know, you had to implement fearless draft because they were always doing the same strategies. And the good thing is that when you step down from there, every champion becomes viable, and that's what's interesting about these games. I doubt we're gonna see an Nafiri in the rest of the world when it comes to high-end competitive game, but here there is your Nafiri, and you're gonna see her perform, and that's the charm of these leagues. It's so fun to watch.
No, that is exactly it. You know, you see like the likes of the LCK and the LCS. Yeah, they're fun. Yeah, you see a lot of the top players in the world. But you don't get that spice you get in these kind of tournaments where teams are just here for fun. I believe we are not that far away from going into game. I did hear something in my ear there. Well, predictions. Yes. We have predictions live in the Twitch chat, folks. Make sure things... If you had to say, Beto, who do you think is going to win? Do you think it's going to be Dillamand or Jazz in game number 1?
Jazz has the solid all-around team. Dillerman is playing the coin flip, and if you have a coin flip, I'm gonna go for them 100% of the time. I want to see those high risks. I love playmaking.
If DayZ was playing, it's always a coin flip. No, this should be good. I think I have to go with the side of I think I'm gonna go with Jazz game 1. I want a bit of spice. I think if Dillamand win for quick 2-0. However, I think if Jazz can get game 1, we'll go the distance, we'll get 3 games, and that's what we in the end want to see. We want to see games. We're here to watch. Ooh, look at these fancy graphics. The Dark Lord definitely has been cooking up in his cauldron, folks, with these new graphics. No, we love them. I absolutely love them. I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued. That's been amazing. This tournament production has been a lot.
Yeah, have to give a big shout out to Air on the background. You know, without him, a lot of these streams would not be possible. You know, and throughout the years, it's always been at a really high level. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see where it goes from here. We are very shortly going to be going into game, folks. I say I'm going for Jazz game 1. I think you're going Dillamand for the coin flips. So this will be interesting.
Are you more a consistency versus risk player? You enjoy more the consistency?
I just don't trust D0 to get a smite when there's a bard in a game. Because he's consistently proven that he thinks it. Synthit he got 14,000 points, but it's 14,000 more than me after my last series that I gambled on. So I'm staying away from the gamba today. Who knows, I might get some as the stream goes on. And we've seen all in on Jack from Misco. And no, I'm intrigued. And yes, Synthit, yeah, it's you up there. No, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a really, really fun series. 2 teams, one of which is not quite fighting for the tournament life, but isn't far from it, and the other team that wants to continue their domination. Not a matter of time now, folks. So yeah, no, I'm intrigued. I'm really looking forward to this. I mean, I've had a really good run in this tournament so far this season. Very much turn up for the books.
What do you think is going to get the first blood?
First blood here. I think it's in the jungle. I think Volibear just runs at day 0 and kills him.
You think? I do like the aggressive that top.
Yeah, I think we're going to get an invade level 1 because, you know, they've got such, you know, with the Bard, they've got so much level 1 prio. And it is actually obviously slightly different to what's on the actual roster sheet from when the season started, but Briar's impact will be in the mid lane today with Set in the Face on ADC. So that's putting, you know, Mizu on a champion that loves to press R, which he's really good at. He's good at champions that press R. Although Hui's got about 1 million ways to press R, it seems.
I mean, Hui has a little bit more range, so he can definitely harass that Orianna a little better than other champions. Orianna is really good into champions who want to trade with her because of the shield, because of the damage of her abilities. But Hui can outrange her, and even if you're not having a good game, you can just clear the wave and leave. So it's going to be probably more passive.
Well, that is it. Now I'm looking forward to seeing what skins we get as well. Have you got spectator bug? We're hearing that there's some bugs in production. We need to send Yumi down there to go clear out those bugs. So hopefully we'll be with you shortly, folks. And we'll get into game. And we can see the action. Because as you can see behind me, the ref's still quite quiet. The teams haven't quite made it out there yet. No, I'm looking forward to this.
Do you play any of the champions play right now?
I've played a bit of the Volibear. That's probably it. And then I tried to learn Severe when I had my wee ADC stint, and then I quickly ran away from bot lane ADC and went back to my comfort Seraphim. No.
Yeah, bot lane have this place in League.
Yeah, no, as I say, when it comes to Seraphim, you know, if we see a Seraphim today, I'll be really impressed. Don't think we see any of these teams playing. And we are going into game, folks. Game number 1 of Jazz versus Gas versus the Dillamond Esports team. And here we go. We're already in, and we're not seeing any invades. It's a nice steady 5-point from both sides. Although we are seeing Dillamond walking, trying to get some prio in this bot lane.
If you're playing the range versus melee, you need every advantage you can get. The cheese strategy with the Alistar on the bush, if they face check you, something that you always have.
You know, this Bard playing really good defense against the Orianna, trying to get that ward. She did manage to get the ward down, but let's see if they can use that information. Bot lane, some nice early trades from this Kaiser, and that's it. That's the kind of thing we need her to see.
Yeah, definitely, especially because if you had to compare the healing that you get on the Alistar compared to Bard, Alistar is a champion that does get to heal you a little more, so if those trades go even, it's generally beneficial for the Elderman, considering they do have on a disadvantage when it comes to range.
Yeah, well that's it. We are seeing Jantron doing a wee bit of damage to Thula there in the top lane. But not too much at the moment. Both teams fairly steady. Junglers are starting opposite, as we do see Aghanim take a lot of damage from Mizu in this mid lane.
Yeah, way abusing that range. And as you mentioned, junglers playing a different pad means that the first ganks available are going to be in different sides of the map. You're going to see how it turns out. The bot lane should be on a lower HP, which should benefit Dana Fury is a champion with a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, these bot lanes, I think we're all going to see a fairly steady bot lane. Now, Sivir doesn't come on until a couple of levels. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we are going to see Zehan do a lot of damage. The Electrocute coming out from the Bard. The Void Missile going wide from Mashk. And then they'll just be happy with that.
And you're just waiting for your jungler.
I mean, that's what they've got to do right now. Wait, we are going to see Thula take matters into his own hands, probably knowing the Volibear's in the area and have to do something. Meanwhile, we are going to see Dr. Duck go in with the ground and pound onto the two bot laners for the side of Jazz Gas. And that's what he wants to do. He just wants to harass and try and give this Kaiser space. Meanwhile, we are seeing Volibear lurking on the mid lane. Away does miss with the kind of pullback. And they are going to look for this. Bard's walking up as well. Corona is in the middle of a three-way prong. We see the magical journey come through. Volibear's tagging up the turret, but it will be first blood to the Hui and Jazzwagas.
Yeah, you were right in there. The aggressiveness from the Bolivar. That's what happens when you play in an immobile mage on the middle lane and you lose smite, and you lose flash early on. You become a sitting duck. Amazing rotation from the Bard as well. He showed up from the bot lane in just a few seconds. He looked like he was gonna throw some warding on the jungle, but decided to do a full rotation.
Talking of aggressive junglers, we are seeing the Nefir going down. The spell shield will come out on the Severe, and nothing more will happen. And we did see as well Daisy getting his mark in with the smite, narrowly missing the smite on the crab, but thankfully for him, he did secure it in the end.
It was just warming up, you know, like you get to practice a little, you get more comfortable.
Just getting his eye in on the smites. This Waze can do a lot of damage now, you know, ahead of this Orianna. And Orianna will need to wait till she gets some assistance at this point to really try and get back in this matchup.
Yeah, luckily for her, she did brought teleport, so as soon as she died, she came back. She didn't lose any minions. She had Kaio the moment she got killed. So waves, so both lanes are still even in gold. That's a really heavy benefit for her. Only losing those 400 gold from the first blood.
Well, that's just it. You know, League bringing that back in as we see the replay coming out. And yeah, look at this. A three-way prong. Not much Orianna can do. Especially with the flash already being down.
Yeah. Low HP,
We're coming straight back in the top lane. Thula, he's got that passive stacked up. He is. Got that revive as Janthone on the Tom Kench will dive away. This top lane is very even at the moment, as we see Alistar going in onto Severe, but nothing more, as the first dragon will spawn onto the Rift. First chance to see which phase 0 we're getting today.
An interesting interaction between Alistar and Sivir is that Alistar does use his 2 abilities for his knockup combo. Sivir can only block once, so you either get knocked out or you get knocked
The magical journey did come through there from the Bard, and that Alistar, their one real front line, unless Sahen's here, just is blown up before this dragon even starts. You see the ultimate come in from the way, nothing more, but this Orianna is weak, is losing health quickly and has no mana, so she has got no prio at the moment in this mid lane.
Yeah, luckily for her, a minion pool aggro on Hui, stop in the middle, tanked the Q for her, so she didn't took that much damage from that ultimate combo. Still, being a little lower on HP, being a lower on mana, she's gonna need to recall. Both laners seems to be agreeing on that, so none of them are gonna be losing anything from this.
Here we go, Daisy's second attempt at the scuttle, but this time he's got Alistar there, and they should just easily secure that without the need to smite. Astula doesn't just sit there in the way. Exactly, right? You know, League's a team game. As we are going to get the dragon, Volibear is in the area. He is looking around. He's got Bard coming in from the backside. He is going to get knocked up by the Alistar. Nothing more. The stun comes out onto the Kai'Sa. Severe is here. Meanwhile, up in the mid lane, we are going to see this Orianna get tackled again, this time by the Hui and the Volibear as they turn their attention back towards this Drake. About 90 seconds to Grubs as well. So you got to think if one team can get just a lay out a wee bit, get a couple of kills, they could get both objectives right here. And neither team are going to go for it. They're all going to back off. Hold on, Bard is doing a lot of damage with electrocute onto Severe, onto Kai'Sa, and Severe's there as well. And somehow don't die, but someone who is going to die is Thula on the top lane. Dilla, man, what are you doing? You guys are the 2-0 team, but right now it's 2-0 to Jazzwagas.
Yeah, unfortunately for that Sahin, he was low on mana. He could not really fight back that Tankenge, even though he's a champion with a lot of regen, a lot of Omnivamp. You cannot fight if you don't have the resources for. He should have probably pulled that recall, played a little more safe.
And yeah, here we go. Here we see Zahen going in, trying to start that passive, but Tom Kent's just, you know, he's a tank that does way too much damage. You know, he's going to chuck him out onto oh, he takes tower shots. Oh, that's to burn the ultimate as well, and then at that point you've got no escape with no mana. That's so unfortunate for Thula. The stun comes in, and he just gets eaten up by the River King. And yeah, we're back in game. We see both teams kind of trying to think about fighting. They know roughly where this Volibear and Bard is, and we're gonna see a nice wee trade, folks. You know, two teams being very diplomatic. You can have the grubs, I'll take your dragon. Thank you very much. Saves D0 miss. Oh, that was a miss smite. Already there. Well, I think that was the Alistar one, so we'll give D0 and let off for that.
A wise man once said, don't judge me by my methods, judge me by my results. If he gets the grubs, he gets the pass.
Well, that is just it. You know, 3 grubs for the side of Dillavend and the Ocean Dragon. Which one would you rather have here, Beto? Would you rather have 3 grubs, or would you rather start the dragon stacking nice and early?
The thing is, you have a Tahm on the other side, you have Volibear, you have champions that can pressure the side lanes, probably a little better than you. You playing a little more of a catch, more explosive team fight, so you don't want them to have the grubs.
Yeah, we just saw there, you know, Mizu forcing D0 off the enemy blue buff, while this Volibear is actually strangling his bot side jungle for D0. He is a homeless jungler right now. He can't find solace in the blue side jungle, and he doesn't have a bot side anymore. Yeah, some great team play there from Jazragas. Meanwhile, Thula fighting again, looking for that passive to be stacked. He's almost there. He's got it now, but he gets Ian before it comes through. Now we should get it when it comes out. There it goes. The CCM unit comes out. I would have personally kept fighting. Try and pull the Tahm Kench with you. His bot lane will kind of cancel their backs. The Severe's here, but here comes the volley there. We'll get the stun onto the Kaiser right on the tower. We'll get knocked in there. Has to use the ult to get out. Doesn't turn the tower off. Instead, we'll just back away.
Yeah, not a fight you could have taken there with Volibear. Even if you do get to stun the tower, Kaiser still has the shield from the Killer Instinct. A little bit of a trade.
You see this Bard Electrocute coming out again. It's such a nutty rune to have on a support. I know it's one of my favourites to take. And DayZero, he is determined. He's determined to take this blue buff, but they know that he's there. As he's going to get rooted up by the Orianna ball, as Volibear is in the air, the way, as Orianna's walking up as well, but Volibear will happily take his blue buff back.
Excellent usage of the exploding plant. You get to dodge some abilities, even if you root it. Doesn't mean you don't get to move.
So, 11 minutes in, it's quite a steady game. Only about 1.5k gold in it for the side of Jazragas. But I got a feeling that, you know, this game is going to pick up very shortly. You know, these teams, we're starting to posture, we're coming up to another dragon in a moment of time. Meanwhile, on the top lane, we are going to see this Tahm Kench get pulled in a game by Thula. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Dr. Duck is taking a lot of damage. Bard is here. Can he get the kill? Bard, 2v1! I doesn't get it. Maj will pick up the kill onto the Spaceman. But that Alistar was living a fine line there.
Yeah, really dangerous there, considering that Ignite deals true damage. Yes, you do get damage resistances while playing an Alistar, while using your ultimate, but you don't get to negate true damage, so probably closer than expected.
Yeah, I mean, here we are. You know, we're seeing both junglers are coming in the area here. You know, we are going to see this way walking down as well. We don't not waste thinking about it. But we do have the Volibear and the Bard here looking for an entry. We're going to probably see a magical journey. Oh, no, we're going to see the ult. The Tempered Fate does go wide. Meanwhile, we are going to see this Dr. Duck. The cow will be blown up and sent to the butchers. And DayZero's got to be careful here, because this Bard and Volibear are going to want to fight him. As he's fighting over a scuttle. I think DayZero got that.
Yes,
but he's going to pay for his life. No. As we see the Volibear ult coming in, and that's a stun, and that is just a dead dog. The cow got sent to the butchers, and the dog got put down.
Yeah, we're starting to see how the little goal leads that Jazz managed to get during the laning phase is starting to make difference. It's a little more damage here, a little more that you get to tank here and there, and these small trades are being really beneficial for them. Then again, we're still in the laning phase. The gold lead is not that big so far. It's barely 2,000, 3,000 gold, starting to climb up, but you're playing more of a catch-oriented team. You want to catch the rotations, so you're probably gonna be able to stabilize a little more in the late game.
Well, that's just... I mean, which team do you think scales better here, as we see this dragon getting ready to spawn?
I'm not familiar with Sahim's scaling since he's a new champion and he's been changing his numbers every single day. Hui and Sivir do scale really well, and the Tahm Kench gets really tanky. On the other hand, Kai'Sa is really good at killing tanks. I will say Jazz does scale a little more better, but I will hope to have a better teamfight potential on the other man, even if you're falling behind.
Yeah, well, here we go. We do see the Volibear and the Bard starting this dragon. Alistair probably knows they're there as Kai'Sa's zoning off the Severe. DayZero has walked into the pit. Meanwhile, in the top side, here we go. We've been brought here. 1600. Can DayZero get the smite? That's the big question we all want to know. He steals a dragon! That's a first! DayZero's the one that steals the dragon, but he's going to pay for it with his life. As we are going to see everyone kind of, we're blinking health bars. We see the Severe die. Bard is probably going to escape with his life as he goes on a magical journey, but Orianna is there completing that quest, and Diamond, they manage to turn the fight. They get the dragon and they get the 4 for 2. That is great metrics if you're on the side.
There you have it, the damage potential and the team fight for Dillerman. And remember, you still missing that Zahin, who is, as you know, a monster when it comes to fighting. All of his abilities healing multiple people. He gets to resurrect. He is a teamfight monster. So even if you're falling behind on Dillerman, don't give up on them yet. They do get to fight these team fights better than anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think the scary thing for me is this, Tahm Kench is quite ahead as Bard is coming up to help the top laner here, and I just don't think that Zahin can do anything in there. He doesn't have the DLC, which allows him to move, and he will pay for it with his life. As we see Set in your face, trying to put some damage to the tower, will proc the crystalline overgrowth there, but will pay for it by being knocked back into the tower, and he just dies. Another kill for the score in old Kai'Sa. Where's that come from?
Complicated situation. If you play in Sivir, you have a spell shield for sure, but when Alistar approaches you with the tremors, they hit multiple times a second. You need to time the push and the knock-up. It's pretty much impossible. You're gonna get CC, you're gonna get pushed away.
Here we go. We are going to see, Dillerman, they were looking to try and defend, but they are going to go mid lane instead, and DayZero just blows up Mizu with a Nafu. That is what that champion can do. We are seeing first items coming through. Dusk and Dawn for this Volibear. I've seen a lot of players build this now. It's a slightly busted item, no?
It's a new item. A lot of people haven't experimented with it. Is it better than the famous boss build of the Immortal Volibear? A little complicated to say. When you're facing this much damage, maybe you don't want to try to play the Immortal and you're going for a more aggressive, oriented focus like this Volibear. Yeah, it's definitely more damage than the Volibear.
Yeah, we see Thula stacking that passive. We'll proc the revive. Let's see if he can survive long enough to actually use it. He decides to run away, has to pop the ulti just to get back under the safety of his tower. But the Rift Tower is here, and Tahm Kench says, yoink, you're mine, and he just kills him anyway and takes the tower for free. And
yeah,
that was hubris if I ever saw it. As we're going to see Kai'Sa coming in, Bard is going to charge right into the tower, taking a lot of plates as well. He will use the magical journey to get himself out of here, but we do see Dillerman looking to collapse way over the wall. Will do a lot of damage onto this Kai'Sa as they are forced to just back away. And that is a nice tower set capture for this side of Jazz with gas. And if you look at the bot side, Severe's continuing to push. And with these 3 grubs that went to Dillerman there, they could have tackled that even quicker. But in the end, she is still going to get the tower, get a lot of solo gold there, as we see Corona moving there to block it.
fight's not over yet.
And you see well back away. Meanwhile, on top lane, Mizu's trying to poke, trying to look for something here. Bard is in the air as well with the volley, but they are going to look at it going in on this Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa got a lot of damage onto the way, but the volley bearer is here, and so is Bard. And this Kai'Sa will fall, and the cow will follow very shortly. If they can hit him, because the way in the mid lane, we see Zahen going in onto the Tom Kens with help from the dog. Problem is, this dog has his claws being snipped, and this Tom Kens is just going to start. Yeah, this is why Tom Kens is a broken champion. How much damage was he taking there? And he's just there. Meanwhile, Volleyball will just come in with a stun as DayZero will take away the red buff, will get the Orianna shield to try and get him out. We'll have to use the blast comb, but that's a lot invested for the side of Delament, and they don't really get much for it. And if anything, it's Jazz Regas that are in the ascendancy.
I mean, they did manage to get the bottom tower while the Orianna was pushing, but yeah, you did give away too many kills for it. You are again at a deficit goal of only 1,000, but you're probably gonna have to give up this streak.
Who does a Chemtech Soul benefit more? Is it the side of Jazz Regas or is it the side of Dillamant?
It's definitely gonna be Jazz. Both do get a benefit from it, like Sahim loves the Chemsoul and Alistar as well, but having 3 front laners, well, 2 front laners and a champion who likes the front lane a little, which is the Bard, who shoots bot Deadman plate. Generally speaking, champions in Jazz like to be on lower HP a little bit more.
Yeah, we have got what looks like to be a pause in game. I did see reports that there was a jungle having issues. So hopefully, we'll fix it very soon. And there we go. We're back into game, folks. Yeah, I mean, right now, game state wise, even with this Tarn being so fed, 2 dragons, there's only about 1.1k gold in it, and not even that, about 500 gold in it. It is a very even game, and it can still go either side.
Yeah, definitely. And even if Chaz does scale a little better, they have to deal with the problem that if you get that severe, you get that Hui kill, you're out of a team fight. And having so much initiation with an Orianna ultimate on a show wave that can destroy any squishy champion, it's gonna be a definitely complicated thing to go around. So the game can go either way.
Yeah, we are going to see the Bard spotting out the Alistar in the own jungle. You look at the vision control on this top side from the side of Jazz Vegas. For a team that lost last week, they're playing really well. And this is the week you start to see how the team matchups, how the team strengths are showing. As we Jantron just being able to walk right into Thula's face. We see in the chat Synthet saying that this matchup is so Tam Kent's favoured because of the fact that he can just eat the Zahen when the passive's up, and that's exactly what we've seen so far.
Yeah, but you need to remember that Zahen passive doesn't wear off instantly. So you only manage to take down a few stacks of it. It's amazing if you're about to kill him, because you deny the passive and you kill him, but if he survives on low HP, he can go back immediately.
Well, that's just it. Welcome to the stream, Murray, coming from the recommendations. Hopefully you're going to enjoy what we're watching here. We've got a great game going on between the side of Dillamant Esports on the red side and Jazz Regas. We're going to go right in onto this way. We'll get stunned up by the volley, but Alistar's here to try and peel. Decides, no, I don't want that. Don't want that fight. I'll hit this Spryer's Broom as they look to collapse onto the Severe in this mid lane. We haven't seen the flash and the shield coming out. They are diving on tower. DayZero's tagging tower. We'll have to use Unstoppable as Mask takes a couple of tower shots on the backside. That will be the death of the Severe. But let's see if they can use. That's a lot burned there for the side of Dillamant. But they are going to go around to Volleyman. Volleyman just blows up. This time it's the Bear who it's hunting season for him, as the Painter will have to run away here.
Yeah, Daisy managing to use the reset on his ultimate just as about it was to run out. You have about 10-15 seconds to use it after you
as we see them all collapse on this tower. The tower will fall thanks to crystals, and they are just looking to push the advantage on top lane. Thula's just not having a fun time. And this is where you got to wonder, do you have to go and help your top laner collapsing them? Or do you keep trying to push this mid lane? And they decide to do neither. They are just going to back off. But you got to respect the threat of any of these teams going for the Baron.
I mean, if you're playing Dillerman, you need to leave him farm. He has the benefit of the XP, he can get back into the game. He does get some gold back. He was just maybe a little trigger happy with that ultimate. But that time change is still not much, so it's out of respect.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame him. I would do the exact same thing, but at the same time, you know, that's a massive team fight tool. You're just losing before the fight even starts. You know, it plays round, you know, max health. Meanwhile, I'm going to see Jantron possibly get caught here. He does have the Bard to try and get him to safety. Bard does have the ultimate, and I would expect him to chuck it in. No, they're just going to let the Tom Kents die. Very interesting decision. I'd be questioning that if I was that, but that could just open up for Dillerman Baron here 24 minutes into the game.
That's a risky one, but the enemy jungler already show up on the bot lane, harassing your mid laner, so you know you have free smite battle here. And there is no smite battle if you're
we see the Bard buying a bit extra time, but that's all it is. You know, the side of Jazz Vegas didn't even look to try and rotate and use the Bard timer to get it, but Dillerman will take that, puts them in one of their first gold leads of this game as the dragon is spawning. This is where it gets interesting. Oh, DayZero, what are you doing? He gets caught by everyone entering, face checking a bush just because your Baron doesn't give you invulnerability, and they will. That is a big resource wasted. But now let's see what they can do to try and use the advantage of that early execution. We are going to see the Void Seeker coming in from the Kai'Sa, trying to do damage to the back line. Nothing that happened just yet. Dragon down to 4,000, 3,500. Thula's in the pit with a Sahen. They are going to go in. DayZero will get the severe, but who gets the dragon? It goes to DayZero! 2 smite battles, 2 wins for DayZero. And another team fight ace for the side of Dillerman.
And you were doubting my man. Not only he wins the smite battle, but he baits the enemy mid laner to use the ultimate a few seconds before the team fight. For you, he's trolling, but you can see the tactical genius that he is.
Put today in the diary. DayZero has finally learned what a smite button is, and he's using that to let his team, Dillerman Esports, push right down the throat of the side of Jazz Vegas. They are probably looking, I don't think they can end, but they're going to get very close to it. They decide against it with only one lane being pushed. But that is open up this game to a 7,000 gold lead in favour of Dillerman Esports 26 minutes into this game.
I mean, you could not be happier than that. And not only that, but you get the march of victory. You get to steal the enemy jungler while walking away.
I mean, Volibear still has rights over his own jungle, thankfully for him, even though it is kind of illegal. But they are taking a lot of vision down in this bot side. You know, you've got this next big objective is going to be this dragon. Whoever gets it will go on soul point. The risk of taking that mid inhib though now is because you don't have any other lane pushed past a tier 2. That's just going to be pushing into you and into the enemy, and they can farm and level up a lot easier, even with this Baron. I would be looking to push some side lanes here and do it quickly, because these Baron buffs are almost over, if not they are. So the Baron buff's gone, and yes, you've got a nice road down Broadway, but that's it.
Yeah, but even if you do account for that, even if Jazz gets to farm free the mid lane, that is an opportunity for somebody to be pushing the side lane. We get to see Tula, who's going top lane. He's probably going to be able to receive those waves himself, since he's only going to be facing either the Tankenge or the other side laner. In this case, the person who's not covering the mid lane is going to be White. So you get to climb back into the game.
Well, that's just it. You know, there's still a lot of standing gold for both teams. You know, for the side of Dilliman, they have what 5 out of turrets still standing up there, including just before the inhibs. Whereas we've got 6 for the side of Jazz Gas, so one team fight and one properly executed Baron. It could go either way still. Meanwhile, we are going to see Safety get caught here. He's definitely not safe. Will get stunned up through the magical journey. Meanwhile, Dr. Duck take a lot of damage from the Severe, as we are going to see Madge going in with the killer instinct right onto Severe. The spell shield will not protect her, as the Volibear will fall as well. Madge is unstoppable on this Kaiser. Stacey is looking to put some pressure onto this way in the mid lane. This is where this push could come in good. For the side of Dilliman, is now they're turning attention to this Tom Kent. 4 members collapsing onto this River King. All 5 of them are converging here in his top lane. He will get back to his tower, but I don't think his tower is going to be enough to save Dr. Dottie tanking the turret. And yeah, they will take that.
Yeah, the problem when you lose every single turret in the mid lane is that your jungle is now open. You cannot be walking around if you don't have a partner nearby, because you're gonna get jumped into, especially when with a team like Dilliman.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of damage. We are seeing the Spiral and the Spare Camp for the waiting. A lot of damage onto this kick, onto the Sahin. Doesn't quite do enough to kill him though. As they are just going to, you know, with that, deciding against it. They're not flipping it just yet. With Dragon spawning in a minute and Baron spawning at minute 20. Question is though, if they can't end with a 10k gold lead, what is their key to breaking this base open?
Yes,
with 30 minutes into the game,
you will expect a quicker victory. The thing is, Dilliman is playing a more catch-oriented team. You want to punish the enemy team for being in misposition. So you already got the advantage. You are starting to turn that advantage into objectives. Here they caught Finn out of position, as I was saying.
Yeah, clinging there, but it does have the Tom Kent here. Doesn't quite get the eat there, as we see Orianna going golden. Madge, Missy will just blow up to Madge, as Daisy is on a rampage against Set in Your Face, and that should be it, folks. That should be the end of game number 1 with Dilliman Esports. They had a really rough start. They made hard work of it, but in the end, Daisy finally found his smite button. And it looks like with that, Dilliman are going to win game number 1. And setting a nice marker there for the rest of the series. And that will be a win for Day Zero and Dilliman Esports. 12.6k gold lead in the end.
An amazing out-of-the-book example of how to play a catch team. Force the enemy to spread, catch them when they're off guard, win through numerical superiority. You could not play that better. They did have a lot of trouble during the laning phase, but as they were getting out of those lanes, as the turrets were falling, they were playing exactly where they wanted to play.
Well, that's just it. Now we're just going to have to wait and see what happens in the next series. You know, it wasn't as if Jazz Gas were out of that fight. They were both very close for the majority of that game. I mean, look at that. Until about 23 odd minutes, the game was pretty much even. You know, Dilliman was behind quite a wee bit early. But then by the time it came to the end, they just snowballed it and the game was a bogey at that point.
Yeah, as we said, it was a really coin flip kind of team, but when you have this much damage, all that gold lead turns into even more damage. So you start having the question, like, can you survive that? Yes, the Tam Kench was really ahead. He could have probably done it, but he's only one member of the team. If you cut someone out of guard as the Bard or the Volibear, they're not gonna survive the damage, and you're gonna be fighting with one less player.
Well, that's just it. Let's just take a look at this damage, though. You know, we see Hui doing a lot of damage, the Tom Kent's doing a lot of damage, the Kaiser doing mega damage, but the Severe didn't really work. Only 300 damage behind, in front of this Alistar. You gotta think Jazz Gas need to go back to the drawing board, because playing a safe champion like Severe didn't really work. You gotta think, do they mix it up by putting Mizu down the bot side? Because it's just not worked. Matt's got a nice safe lane to play in, And yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm intrigued to see how this game goes in game number 2.
I mean, you're playing a more teamfight-oriented champion, but you don't have much PL for you. The Bard is going to leave you a little behind. He can do some really good plays, but once the Bolivar is out, you're just a sitting duck, and that happens to him a lot. He was being caught up, he was being destroyed. The Daisy was particularly targeting him, and when he was not doing it, you will also have an Alistair in your face, CCing you through the whole team fight. It was a really good disabling the bomb from the Dealerman squad. They played it perfectly, to be honest. Nothing to complain about.
Well, that's it. I will say though, Set in Your Face is not an ADC main. Looking at the OPGG, a lot of games in mid and top lane. So I wonder if we will see some moving about in this next game, putting people maybe some more comfortable roles, but even Clean in the jungle. You know, he's a top lane main, or at least going by the OPGGs. So it'll be very, very interesting to see. Who's your MVP of that game?
Good question. I think you were trashing him a little, but Daisy had some really good smites. They were doing some really good rotations, and he was showing up whenever the team was needing damage.
Don't beef up his ego. He doesn't need it. No. Respect to Daisy. Hell of a performance.
He had an amazing game. Yeah. But it seemed like the Hui was also dominating the lane. He was playing with his jungle a lot. That was also a really good performance from his side. And of course, the damage that you had from Matt was insane. But I had to admit, Daze had one of the best games he had so far.
I think that's the best game that I've ever seen DayZero play. And I think on that, we'll step aside, take a wee break while the teams get ready for game number 2, and then we'll be straight back with hopefully another banger draft and another banger game between Dillerman Esports, who are 1-0 up against Jazz Regas. We'll see you soon. Yeah. Welcome back, one and all, to the Scouts Report, a MiniLCS podcast sponsored by the one and only Timo. What a game we just saw there, Beto. That was a hell of a game where Jazz Gas started off really strong, but the fuel tank just ran out, and it was the side of Dillerman Esports that took the win in the end.
Yeah, they were winning during the laning phase, but the team that Dillerman was drafted was more oriented towards the catch on the late game once the turrets are down, once people start getting isolated, and it worked out. Even if they were behind for like 3,000 gold, I think it got to 4,000 at a point. Your team strength managed to... Yeah, and you just went home with the game.
Well, that's just it. You know, we saw Dillerman Esports, they had a rough start. There was a lot of moments in there where we were both like, uh-oh, but Day Zero, not living up to his name, actually knew where the smite button was and stole away 2 crucial drakes nice and early. And yeah, I'm just hoping for Day Zero to at least continue, but yeah, here we go straight into draft, and we see the Jinx and Misfortune and Aurora bands coming out as the Smolder, Varus and J4 are banned for the side of Jazz Gas.
Yeah, we see similar bans to the previous. Jazz apparently does not want to interact with long range teams, keeps banning the Smolder, keeps banning the Varus, whereas Dillerman keeps banning those late game scalers. Great to see the Diana pick. We've seen a lot at this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really solid champion. I'm concerned now. I'm really concerned. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys saw Daisy's last performance in this movement, but he's no Chubateo on that. I can tell you that for a fact. This will be interesting to see as he locks it in. This will be interesting.
I was casting that game, and yeah, it was questionable to say the least, but it did work out at the end.
Hey, at the end of the day, though, that's all you want to do. You want a team that somehow managed to pull around, and Amumu is this kind of character that even if the jungler's inting, all he has to do is press R, get a 3-man out in a team fight, and he's fine, as he's going to be paired up with a Xayah. Now, Xayah's a really strong champion. She's got a lot of peel tools for herself, especially for this Diana. So we could see, it's all going to come down to the crunch moments where she does the Feather Storm and tries to get away from everyone.
Yeah, this is a complicated situation for Jazz because...
Hell yes! Hell fucking yes! Let's go! I'm Jazz Gas. I don't care about the rest of the draft. Jazz Gas just wins. They just win draft. That's 2 streams now I've done. We have not expected the Seraphine and it's come through. I'm a happy man. Seraphine is really, really strong into Xayah. Because it's just so good. It's just so good. I'm intrigued to see how they pair it and where they put this Seraphine. And isn't it aggressive? Okay, I'm fine. I'm done. It's an aggressive Seraphine. That's exactly what I want to see from the side of Dillerman. The Sevilla didn't really work last time, so you're going to switch it up and bring in an APC. And we are going to see the Braum coming in.
Yeah. Now, remember that Braum, the lead,
if the Braum plays well, if the Braum plays well, it can be a pain in the butt. However, if the Braum doesn't get that shield up in time, or it gets blocked by the Nautilus, the Diana, or another champion, Seraphine gets a free ult through the Amumu. And
Dillerman has to burn. Dillerman hasn't picked a mid laner, and you still have champions like Mel available.
I think they have. I think the Mel gets banned for blue side here nice and early. I doubt it's going to be Mizu on the Seraphine. I'd be really impressed if it was. But I do think she's going bot lane here. Or, flip side is this a Nautilus jungle?
Yeah, it's an interesting team so far because, as you were saying, the Nautilus can be both jungler and support, and the Seraphine can be both mid laner and ADC. And you're playing with Jazz, which is a team that can switch the players around. Two is now rock after that, Sarah.
Valid. Absolutely valid. Anyone who knows me, you know that. And they don't think it's a Seraphine APC, and they think it's Nautilus jungle with that Ashe ban. Ashe Seraphine is just a disgusting combo. It is just absolutely disgusting. If the Ashe plays well and uses the volley really well, Seraphine's just going to be so chill. But Fluffy, how did he miss that? Someone will clip it in the chat. It's a great reaction. If only you were here to see it. And yeah, we see... Yeah, the Olaf ban as well, and Bessa. The bans aren't really changing for Jazz.
Now, if
I'm on the... Yeah, if I'm on the side of Delman, you just lock the Mel, but instead it looks like the Vagar. I don't know how I feel about that. Don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I like the scene a little more, especially with the Nautilus and the Diana.
I just don't know why you don't lock in Mel. Mel is a busty champion. Especially when you've got a champion like Seraphine.
Yeah, they're expecting the Seraphine to go APC. They don't think they're going to interact too much.
Yeah, now the question is where is this Seraphine going? We see the set, and this next champion will give us a lot of indication on this comp.
She has a really good matchup both mid lane and bot. This still doesn't answer. The Yasuo can go bot lane as well.
That's a Seraphine APC. That's Seraphine in the bot lane, Nautilus support. Yeah. Diana jungle, Yasuo mid lane, and set top. Delman Esports, they don't win team fights. They just don't. They just don't. We see the Renekton coming in to try and do something to this Yasuo, and if it was Yasuo v Renekton does have the advantage with the breaking of the shields. I just don't see how, you've got a lot of front line. You've got so much front line for Dillamond. And on the other side, you have a Diana who wants to go on a target to get on your back line. And then you've got Seraphine, who, as the Diana goes in, as the Nautilus gets that hook in, can ult from her Nexus. And your whole team's just charmed. And right now, if she's built right, she does so much damage. It's... Yeah. Dillamond, what are you doing?
Here's the thing, though. Who's Diana gonna jump into? Because you're not jumping into Saya and you're not Syndra.
Well, the thing is that you just jump onto the back. You use the Braum, you use the Mumu, you use the Renekton as almost like a jumping post. You use that as a hurdle to get to everyone else.
Yeah, but Syndra will push you back and Saya will just ult. Sasha can't ult through Seraphine's charm.
There's a big secret weapon here. There's a wind wall for Yasuo. It's a disgusting ability, and it is a straight up counter. I mean, predictions are open in the chat, and I might not have a lot of gold, folks, but it's all going on Jazz Regas here. I have to go. I have to go with my Seraphine team. It would be illegal for me not to.
I really don't like Shaz drafting here. They're betting too much into going forward full gas, and Dillerman has 5 champions who are really good at receiving that initiation.
Yeah, I can. Problem is though, if they don't play it right, if someone gets caught, you've got this Renekton that can be absolutely face melted into his own back line. By Braum as well.
Who's gonna mount the Renekton?
The set will let's just pick him up and chuck him at the Xayah. And that's a very scary thought if you're on the side of Dillamond. As someone who's got a great set player on my team, I know exactly what this set can do. And yes, it is the Church of Sarah.
You want to see Seraphine.
I'm loving it. It is a cult. It's not a church, it's a cult. If anyone knows me, you know my views on this Seraphine. And I think we're going to 3 games looking at these drafts, but only time will tell, Beto. You know what I mean? We can talk, I can make my case for Jazz Regas. You can easily make a very good rebuttal case for the side of Dillamond, especially after that last performance. But yeah, I mean, we were supposed to have a different kind of stream today, but I think Day Zero just decided, you know what, no, we don't want anything new. I want to run it down. I want to try and miss smites, but actually land them after missing Skull. you know, try something different. And yeah, we'll have to wait. I've been told by the Dark Lord it doesn't know when it's going to be till we get this special stream. Who knows? You might even get to see some kind of cosplay if we somehow make it to finals for Zenith. You'll have to wait and see for one of these streams. But right now, we're going to go hopefully soon back into this game. And I'm intrigued to see it.
You know what? I have so little faith on Jazz that I'm going to go all in for Bellarmine. I don't see it.
There we go. We have two very contrasting views on this desk.
It's the thing. When it comes to going all in a stream, I am cursed. So far, every time I go all in, I lose. My current record is about 17-0. I always lose. Even
I'm hoping for me, to be because the last couple of times. Yeah, because the last couple of times I've gone all in, but the server has gone tits up, so this is going to be interesting. Who is more cursed?
I jump into games where they forgot to close the prediction. It's been 5 minutes. The team is already 10-0, so I go all in for it. I hope I got to cash some cheap points, and then I get destroyed. So yeah,
it's not fun when that happens. It's not fun. Yeah, but that's why you should never gamble unless it's on Seraphim. You heard it here, folks. Nah, honestly, I am so looking forward to this matchup. You know, two teams that aren't scared to fight, and these comps look like they want to fight at the end of the day.
Yeah,
we're going to get a lot of team fights.
Yeah, for sure. The top lane is going to have a lot of fighting early on. Those are two champions who really want to fight. The mid lane is going to be interesting because you're playing the Yasuo man, the melee champion against the range. So you're going to get poked a little. You're probably going to have some support from your jungle, but your jungler is playing Diana, who is a really aggressive champion early on. The Amumu does like to gank, you don't... Huh?
If you want someone to go into someone like a Syndra, you want a Yasuo. As much as you don't, melee versus range tends not to be a good one. Once this Yasuo gets that wind wall, and as long as he's in a minion wave, Syndra's gonna have a hard time trying to do it. And if Syndra gets caught,
Yasuo only blocks projectiles. Syndra's abilities are placed on the spot, so Syndra can poke the Yasuo even through the wind wall. He does block.
That's something I would not have known.
Yeah, he does. Yasuo does block the ultimate and does block the. He does block the W and the E from the push. But the thing is, during the lane phase,
the Q and the black holes, you still got a lot of damage that can be done. I just think this is still Yasuo favored. It's as someone who hates playing against the Yasuo mid lane. Yeah, I wonder though, with the fact we're seeing a melee carry in the mid lane, does that mean we've got a role swap here in these lineups?
Oh, you mean the players?
Yeah, are we seeing maybe something like, I don't know, Mizu, who is well known for being a mage player, switch into the bot lane and set in your face, move into that mid lane, and that's something that could very well happen, especially with Seraphim being a very R-heavy champion for Mizu.
Yeah, that's the thing. You technically, the game has already started, but that was the problem with the draft. Since you know that the players like to change, you still could not know whether they will be swapping the Seraphim into the mid lane to face the Syndra, which is a winning matchup on the Seraphim, or if you were sending the Yasuo on the mid lane, which is a more even game. Like, what do you do there?
Yeah, well, thing is, they don't need to notify the other team that they swap roles. That is one interesting caveat of this tournament, is after game one, where you've declared your roster, you can role swap all you want, as long as it's done prior to the game, obviously. So, if they were to put, for example, Mizu bot lane, it'd be a very different story. But what they could also do is Yasuo could be playing ADC. That's another thing.
I mean, for all we know, the Diana could be the mid lane, and the Nautilus could be the jungle, and Seraphine could be playing support. That was it was an interesting.
Or Seraphine could be jungle.
You can flex a lot.
Yeah, Seraphine
Have you
could
ever
be
done
jungle.
that?
I've seen it. I have many. I think it's great fun. It was a lot more fun last season. But even
Did
this
it
season,
work?
surprisingly, yes. Not in this tournament, but in every other thing I've done.
I'm having
And even
information
then-
here. I'm
and
being
even-
told that. I'm
and
being
even
told
then,
here that you've been a
Had we
third
swapped
liar.
some of our picks and actually picked a bot lane comp that maybe worked a bit better with it, it was there. Hey, I stole Atakan as Seraphine. That says a lot. No, that was a great game against Bushy, who I got my revenge with last week. Aaron, how did that game go? When Bushy and I faced off a game.
Look, there was the game. The set went very well. The set was very good. It was a good set. It was back and forth. It was the first set to go to 3 games. I'd like to add. So it was good overall. Just there was just some bad calls, or non-calls, and it cost my team the win. But
Step, motherfucker.
we'll see you in the playoffs, mate. We'll see you in the playoffs.
100%. I'm so excited for the rematch. Especially if we can get a 5-game series. Who knows? You might see the Seraphine Teemo rematch. But I have some indication that it shouldn't be too long till we go into this game, and you can hear me stop talking shite about Seraphine, which I'm sure you're all so glad for.
Also, something we're mentioning in this game. You have the Braum that can block the Seraphine ult. Jazz doesn't have a lot of pressure into that block, into that wall. Like, yes, maybe Braum wants to block a Jazz or Tornado that might go off a little, and you want to protect someone, preventing the Jazz from initiating. But there are not many things that Braum will want to block in this game, so he can keep that wall ready for when he needs it. Like, he's not going to be pressured to be using it a lot. He's not going to have it on cooldown a lot of the time. That's going to be rough for the Seraphine.
Well, that's just it. Well, only time will tell, folks, on how we're getting on. I still think, we're going to see it's going to be aggressive Seraphine. That's how, the mage items in bot lane right now, because you've got the enhanced income, because you've got that big lump sum when you complete your quest, mage items are just always going to be so much cheaper than these expensive AD carry items. But the graphics have disappeared. That makes me think we can hear the rumblings of a song coming from Summon's Rift. And indeed we are! The show has begun as we go into game number 2 of Jazz Gas versus Diamond Esports here on the MiniLCS. And it is! We have a lot of swaps here, folks. So we have Clean now in the top lane for Jazz Gas. Set in your face coming up from bot lane, going into the jungle. Jantron, who was top lane, going into mid lane. And we have a great goated bot lane combo of Seraphine Nautilus with Mizu and Seifi in that bot lane.
Bot support is trying to take a little bit of mission control. Doctor did brought the revealing agent to get the ward from the bush. He was ready to see if they could pull up the same cheesy trick from last game. But so far, every room seems the usual. The Diana bringing Conqueror might be an interesting thing. I was expecting a more aggressive setup from her. Maybe an electrocute.
Yeah, and we are
But the
seeing...
Syndra is going to have... Syndra, I was going to say, is going to have a more defensive room. He's going to be ready to run away every time he is in danger. That's going to be important at some point.
Yeah, and we see Set already, putting this dominance. With the hook coming in from Nautilus, a high note will come up from Seraphine now. Right now, she's still weak. Not too much, as we see the Renekton pushed under tower. Daisio is in the area, but this set is just, it's not even close. It's not even close. He's not getting allowed to breathe. Meanwhile, Yasuo pushing up in the mid lane. Now, early on, this is how Seraphine wants to play. As we see, level 2's coming in top lane. The Fury start for Tula. Looking there, gets the double W there. Oh my lord. Set is a very balanced champ, folks. Let's see the copy passes in the chat. I mean, that shield is just disgusting level 2. With the grip being stacked. And he's looking at the face metal comes through. He's going in on the trajectory, and Thula is going to burn to the ground. First blood to Anthony Joshua himself in top lane.
Yeah, the lane dominance from Zed being amazing every single game we're having so far. Renekton going for the full fury for the cool weak healing. He does get it, but the ignite, denying the heal was the difference that got him dead. He did have an ignite of his own head that he didn't use. Maybe he could have gotten a trade there. I don't know why he kept it on the pocket, considering that both of them were so low HP.
Yeah. Well, that's just it, you know, and we look across the lanes right now, you know, it's a big lead for the set now. And this will be so hard for the Renekton to play from behind. Both junglers, again, pathing opposite sides with a stun coming up from the Syndra. Not much more there, with a slight level advantage on the Yasuo. But bot lane right now is dead even. I will say... as we see the W come out from Sagan. A beautiful hook from Nautilus. Hold that thought. What is going to use the barrage to get out, and Seraphine low on mana will take a couple of feathers to the face, will be pulled back. Dr. Duck's trying to get onto them, but DayZero's in the area looking for them. Dr. Duck going low. Briar maybe stayed a bit too long, will get bandage tossed in the face, but will get away nice and safely. I was going to say I would like to have seen Electrocute on the Seraphine. We saw the power of that on the Bard last game. As we see Thula take a lot of damage this game, dodges the face melter there from the set.
Manages to get some kill back from the Conqueror and the Cold Weak.
Yeah, I mean, the power of the Seraphine is the fact, you know, because you're a mage in bot lane, you're not taking something like an Ignite or Exhaust as an EPC. You're taking things. Thula lives on a blinking health bar, doesn't quite land the max range W for the set. As Jansen looking to put more pressure onto the Syndra. As Amumu is loitering in the area of the top side. We just saw him bot side trying to do something to the Seraphine. Didn't quite get there, but he is going to look for a gank on this top lane, walking up to the set as the tornado lands onto the Syndra. He's under the tower, he's looking for something, he's burning, and he isn't quite going to be in range to do anything to the Thula, who has to burn his flash, and it will be a kill for the Amumu there on to Clint on the set.
I mean, Healful Flash, that's a trade you take especially this. The goal difference is going to help you a little back, considering that Kenan already had an item ahead of you. Still, the goal lead is in favor of the set, 800 goal ahead.
Yeah, I mean, they know they know this Xayah brother in the bush, and we are going to see Safety walk up, and he's going to hit the Xayah. Now, the good thing with Seraphine is she can shoot from a mile behind, and yeah, I mean, look at that damage already. Helped with the fact that Anna and Nautilus did there. But the beauty is she's got so much wave clear with the Echo, and she is going to land that, and that is Briar's Impact's first hater there, folks. As that will be a kill to the KDA Seraphine with the help of the Diana and Nautilus's backing dancers. And yeah, this is the power of the Seraphine at range. And this is before she even has any real items.
Unfortunately for Matt, he still doesn't have the feather fall, so he doesn't get to survive with the Sonias that she gets.
It's not even that, you know, if you look at the inventory of the Xayah, she's resigned herself to the fact, yeah, I'm not going to have any kill threat here in this lane, picking up the call. I'm not a massive fan of that. And it's just going to be first dragon over to the side of Jazz with gas. As the next dragon is going to be, let's just see what that is. It is going to be an ocean dragon for the second one after that first mountains dragon went down.
I mean, the cool pickup there by Xayah is actually an amazing pick. You're facing a Seraphine, she gets to wait clear for way farther ahead than what...
Hold that thought. Clint getting a bit cocky here in the top lane. Emoting on Thula, and DayZero is here. We see the setup coming out to bring DayZero away, but it's not going to be enough. The W does chunk DayZero for quite a lot, but Thula will pick up the kill in the top lane.
Yeah, definitely. You are unstoppable during the dash, but then the Curse of the Sand Monemy and the Bandage Toss are gonna destroy you. There we see the Syndra manage to
beautiful hook from Safety onto Dr. Duck. As we see the first ultimate coming out from the Seraphine. And yeah, this is where, so the reason I was calling for the execute is in that exchange right there, they would both, well, Dr. Duck at least would probably be on a blinking health bar with the electrocute. Briar's Impact landing all the abilities right now. This is what we love to see, taking a nice lead against Isaiah, as DeJandron having a fun time in mid lane. Definitely these role swaps are paying dividends for Jazz Regatta so far. And yeah, this is just Set getting a bit overconfident here in the top lane, and Amumu punishing quite well, and that's what you want them to see.
Yeah, you were overextended, you didn't have flash, it was just coming your way, you like it or not.
Well, that is, you know, we are quite in a nice position here for both teams here. There's not much air, even still, as we are going to see the vision getting spotted out from the Amumu here. Braum will jump over onto the Amumu, saying stand behind me, as Set in your face will take a lot of damage. Now neither ADCs are in this fight, so it is very much going to be a 4v4 here. Seraphine does have TP coming up very shortly, so if need be she can join the fight, as we look like we're going to get a squabble over these grubs. The hook comes in onto the Braum, takes a lot of damage from the Moonlight. And they are just going to back away. Renekton waiting for the Dominus here. He has it ready to go. He's got his Fury stat. He's looking to go in. Let's see, can DayZero continue his smites? That first one went over to DayZero. And oh my lord, DayZero might have got that, but he gets burnt down and gets in full on the back line. We're doing a lot of damage. Will pick up the Set, but will pay his life here. And we see Ronan on the backside doing a lot of damage to the Yasuo. Will survive in the blinking health bar though, as we do see this full health Diana try and go in, but Nautilus just gets killed. Meanwhile in the bot lane, Seraphine and Xayah fighting as well. Seraphine looks to be winning the lion's share of the fights, but has got the ult coming up. Just had to use that ult. I know, just has the ult coming up, and Mask has to be careful, because if he pops the ultimate of his too quickly, Seraphine will get a free ult here. And there it goes. Seraphine will have to flash away. Now let's see, can Sarah turn the fight? I don't think she's going to. And Amumu will pick up 3 grubs here.
Yeah, unfortunately for Daze here, he didn't have his ultimate on that team fight. It was just coming out of cooldown the moment he died. So now they have to respect it and they have to let him have the grubs. On the bot lane, we get to see Xayah already having the ultimate, which means she's no longer that much of an attractive target. As you were seeing there, Briar's had ultimate, he could have cast his abilities, but the moment you do, whoever shoots first loses. And he had to flash himself, not even forcing Xayah to the ultimate on her own volition.
Well, that's saying us. I think Xayah smelt blood there, and unfortunately didn't quite get it. As we see Braum jumping in onto the Nautilus. We'll get the hook. Now Briar's level 7, Safety is only level 5, while Braum has the ult. So that could be vital, as we see the knock up coming in from the Yasuo. It's clean. Still, even with, you know, dying a couple of times, still doing a lot of damage to the Renekton.
I mean, Set is always going to be a Set, that for sure. He has percentage damage on the Q, you had the Conqueror, he deals so much damage.
Seraphine takes a frosty punch to the face from this promise. He gets hooked right dead in center. Has to pop the ultimate here, and they're looking for blood here. Xayah doesn't have ult yet. Well, Seraphine still does. And Mumu's lurked in the area, though they have to be careful, as Diana will be spotted on upside. We see the Yasuo coming in onto the Syndra, but it just doesn't have the damage yet. Will stack up that wind though. And yeah. He's in a bush, but they've got full vision on you, pal. State of the game, who are you feeling more comfy with?
Dorman has the goal advantage, and as I was saying, I do like the
hold on, we got Curtis Sadmon coming in the bot lane. Rise Impact taking a lot of feathers to face. The Bandit Toss will come in, pops a 3-man ulti, but the backup just isn't there. She doesn't have a backup singers ready, and that will just be a dead Seraphine. She will not be a fan of that.
Yeah, Curse of the Sun, only the amazing teamfight tool it is. Syndra's going to be able to make some distance on the teamfight. Well, Braum can create so much distance. Dorman has such a good teamfight to come. I will say, though, the main difference Shaz has is that they can split the map really well. Set is a champion that is going to be hard for you to contest with only one champion, and Shaz can do kind of the same. generally speaking, cheeky little trick by Secret pulling the Scout Crab to give it to his jungler, so you don't have to fight for it. But yeah, as I was saying, Yasuo and Zed can fight the sidelines on their own, so if they manage to stabilize the game, they might be able to win a lot of gold by splitting the map and playing for the split push.
Yeah, I mean, if I was the Seraphim there, I'd be kind of questioning, you know, the flash on the Nautilus and the Diana to try and get in. But it's just going to be a free dragon across to the side of Delman Esports, as it will be a Chemtech Soul. And if I'm on the side of Delman, I need to make sure I get this, because I'm seeing so many champions that will love a shield. As we see the ultimate coming out again from the Braum onto the Seraphim, gets knocked up again. And she just gets pulled back by the feathers. Meanwhile, we are going to see Diana taking her time to get back into the fight. Still misses the Q, but we'll go on to Mads in the end, and we'll get a kill back onto the Xayah. So all is not lost in this bot lane. 5 kills to 7 in favour of Dillamond right now. But the gold lead, there's 900 gold in it. It's very much all to play for. And yeah, this is that previous gank, you know, with Nautilus and Seraphim. You know, they go in with a hook, they get a great engage. Problem is, when the Nautilus goes in, because Diana's not there, it's a 3v2 and Seraphim's right in the face. I mean, I'm trying to, if I'm the supports or the jungle, I'm just trying to get into that fight as soon as you can. And here we go again. You know, Seraphim just getting caught a wee bit out of position, and Xayah just using the Feather Storm to great success.
Yeah, we've seen an amazing performance from her. She had it a little rough in the early game, but now that she gets that ultimate, that Xayah is going to be so huge.
Talking of huge, this set doing a lot of damage in the top lane right now onto this Renekton. We are going to see Yasuo getting stunned up. We'll take a lot of damage, lives on a blinking health bar from Call of the Meek from the Syndra, but he will escape with that and we'll get back to base. Doesn't quite have the damage yet with the Ludens, but that would have been a nice couple of stacks on the Medjai, on the Dark Seal right there. As we second phase, try to do some damage control here in the mid lane with the Syndra and the Braum. Jantron is back here on the Yasuo. Big thing to remember as well, once we start getting these bigger team fights, the Yasuo can play off the Nautilus ultimate, which could be very big. As the hook, max range hook, just goes wide onto Dr. Duck. Raya has to be careful as the bandage toss comes in from the Amumu. They are going to turn on to Diana. Diana's a lot of damage. The Curse of Sad Mummy comes out and turns. Ah! That is beautiful! A 3 in a row! And she's hit the jackpot there, and that turns into 2 kills very quickly for the side of Jazz with Gas.
Yeah, we see as soon as Sasha pops the ultimate, Seraphim, you know, that's the moment you had to go. Seraphim does the ultimate. Diana answers immediately with the Moonfall, and I was about to correct you. You not only have the Nautilus for the Yasuo ultimate, you can also pull off Diana. You can extend her CC, you can guarantee her damage, and it guarantees yours. Amazing team fight by there as well.
Yeah, well, that's just it. You know, this team fight from Jazz with Gas is exactly what you want. And this, you know, we were talking about, you know, how I was rock hard earlier. This is exactly what you want as a Seraphim main to see. This ultimate is something right off a certain website. I mean, this is just stunning. I mean, just look at that. Oh, that's brilliant. But we are still very much all to play for as the Nautilus hook does come in on to the Braum in the play-by-plays. We see the top lane replay as well. It's just happening all over the Rift here, Beto.
Yeah, it's been a constant fight on the top lane. Well, not just the top lane, the whole map. Renekton there definitely not benefiting off the fact that your ultimate makes you bigger, taking the true damage from said W.
And thing is, with that fight, the favour does swing back into Jazz with Gas. You know, both these sides are very balanced when it comes to late game scaling. As they see Nautilus do a lot of damage, well, not a lot of damage, a lot of CC on Renekton. But Sed is here as well now. We have Dr. Duck and Matt running to help the top laner who's burning away. Again, got the Yasuo on the bot side, and it's a Seraphim joining the fight here for Shelly. We are looking to have a big fight here, but Daisio, late to engage. They're going to look to try and jump on this late. The Seraphim is back up, so the Yasuo wind wall, and all, as we see Safety going in on the back line onto them. Mumu, but they're going to get a lot of damage. Another decent surfer, no, maybe not quite as good as last one. As Daisy will finally smite button again, and we'll get another smite as we see him pay his life for it. But Set will fall to the Xayah, and Mumu, Nautilus, and Diana will fall as well, and Briar's Impact will just return backstage. As it's a 3-4-1 in favour of Dilemma Esports.
Look at that Xayah, the whole team fight just happened and she's still full HP and Syndra was not even there. Yeah, the access to the back lane for Jazz is getting a little complicated when they had to go through the side lane, to the front lane.
Yeah, here we see here, you know, Sefin just holding it out, maybe a bit too late, trying to go for the big wombo combo, doesn't quite get it, and that just allows Drom to kind of get away and doesn't get stunned and do a lot of damage onto this Nautilus and losing a lot of CC. And Diana tried to do what she can on the back line, but there just wasn't enough damage at that point. I mean, here we are. See, that's the moment right there when I'm outing. But she waits that wee bit too long, and oh my lord, he didn't even smite it. He didn't even smite it. Or at least didn't smite it away. He still missed the smite, so nothing new there. Yeah. But he got it done. He's got the eye. That's all that matters. As Jantron will get caught in the bot side. We've seen the TPs coming in from the Renekton on the bot side, and yeah, that's how you kill us. But Yasuo. You invest everything in the kitchen sink. But the big problem with that, your Renekton used his TP to get down there, has to now back while the Seg gets a free push on top side.
You should not be able to take that turret, even when
he takes the turret.
Oh, he's so fed at this point.
And this is the problem with this current season with a champion like Set. He just, you know, it doesn't matter. Even get a couple of kills, he just does so much damage as he uses the face mount. But meanwhile, in the middle, we've got a big fight as Xayah will get the kill on Nautilus. And we're seeing, you know, Maz coming alive on this Xayah. I need to flame Mizu for a second. I don't like that second item. I really don't like that second item. It is one of the worst items you can pick. You're playing an AD APC. You have bought Seraphs. You want to be going full damage. This is the problem when people don't understand what Seraphim actually is. And this is one of my biggest pet peeves about competitive gameplay.
The main issue I see is that, but besides that, the point. You're doing he's probably gonna go for the Echoes of Helia. I don't know if he's gonna go for the second support tier item. Considering that he's stacking a lot of mana, he might go for it. But you're not playing a poke battle here. You don't need the sustain over time. In any case, you are in charge of your team poke. If the enemy team is half HP, your whole team is an engaged team. You want them to be low so you can engage on people being low. But here we see the Yasuo party on the bot lane.
Yeah, it was literally the kitchen sink and all that went there. Yeah, it looks like Mizu's fully sending into this support Seraphim vibe. I just think that's a missed opportunity. You are a long-range poke mage who does so much damage. Yes, your Diana's ahead. Well, maybe not actually. No, she's not really ahead. She's quite strong. Your Set is well ahead, is doing a lot of damage and strong. Your biggest problem is, though, Yasuo's so far behind, it actually hurts to watch. But when you've gone... You know, I'm a big believer in full AP Seraphim.
No, I will totally agree on you. So the problem right now is that your team is being kited on. They're having trouble engaging, and when you engage, you don't manage to pull the entire enemy team, and your team is gonna get destroyed by Syndra and Sasha. The counter to PO is poke. You wanna poke them, so when you engage on them, they're so low that you're just finishing them off. But who's gonna do the poking here? Sed's not gonna poke. Diana has a Q, sure, but she's not gonna be poking with it. The poke, you
has to be Seraphim.
Yeah, it has to be you. So this is the game where you buy the Blackfire Torch, where you buy the
you go Blackfire, you go Luden. Yeah, I mean,
I'm
Luden is busted.
An advocate for Luden. I don't like that item too much. Even though it's strong right now, I just hate the item.
Diana has to burn the flash though in the jungle. Yeah, it's just... At this point though, you know, looking at the itemizations, I've kind of swapped sides here. I think this is now just going to be Dylan and Esports just throttling out this match. It's just, yeah, I think the Xayah is going to get too strong, and we see right here, you know, Seraphine has to flash away there from the Braum and the Xayah. She's getting left alone there. Syndra's looking there to try and ping a kill from the stage right. Doesn't quite get there.
I will say you still have a set who's kind of fed. Yes, the Renekton has managed to cut up a little, especially with the team. What are they called? The team rewards from the comeback. But you have a set who is ahead and he has Hullbreaker, so he can split. And as I was saying before, your team can fight the split. So it's one of your advantages, one of your winning matchups. So maybe they can still pull that off.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. We are going to see teams pushing here in the blue side, top side jungle here. Dan looking at a little bit of damage. They are going to go. Look like they're maybe going to go in. They're looking for an angle here. You know, Seraphine on the back line and pushing through this mid wave. You've got Safi, Set, and Clint kind of walking together, but nothing really happens just yet. I thought we were going to get a fight there.
Yeah. Even if you get it, like, you're not gonna win the 5v5, but you're losing waves on the bot lane. What are you doing here? I get that you feel like the game is maybe escaping a little from you, like you need to do something to climb back into the game, which they're trying to do right now, but it's
Thula finish checks a bit, gets the Seraphine out to the face, and that will bring Thula a lot of damage now coming from everyone else. Problem is, the burst is done. They are going to pick up a kill, a shutdown for the Seraphine onto the Renekton. Problem is, Daisy is on the back line and will get the Syndra. Xayah. So Xayah will kill the Seraphine, and now everyone else looks like they're going to fall because this Xayah is having free reign. Savi's the only one standing, as is going to be a double kill in the end to the set. But that should just be a free dragon and put them on sole point for Diamond Esports.
Yeah, no way Safi is gonna be able to deny that Drake, especially with Xayah being able to recall the feathers. It's pretty much a second smite. So this is another Drake for them. They're at sole point at this moment, and they're 5,000 gold ahead. Sorry, 4,000 gold ahead. It's gonna be 5,000
after this dragon.
Yeah, it's gonna be right now.
Yeah. 4.5k, and yeah, here we are. This is this big fight, right? So it starts off great for the side of Jazzwagas because Renekton walked right into the bush, but everyone else just so late. You know, Set's late to the fight. You know, Xayah's and Braum are literally able to walk from the bot side, backside, and don't even get spotted. And the fight is just so split. You leave your Seraphine to die. You know, as much as she's got a very heal build, she still is one of your main damage. It's finally. It looks like we are going to see some more aggressive items coming out, but it's just,
as I said, like, you are a full engaged team, but if you don't engage on the Syndra or the Xayah, you're wasting your time. You gotta go engage.
Well, that's exactly
right.
it.
But Syndra scattered the wig, push your team away. Amumu got the Curse of the Sand Mummy, so your whole team is just sitting there, eating all of Syndra's abilities. You're taking so much damage, and at the end of the day, okay, you got to kill the Renekton, who's not even fed, he's not even a problem. Syndra is still alive, you had to lose 2 people to get her now. Oh, okay. I thought for a moment that Chasu might confirm that,
And now we've seen on the opposite side, this time it's Dillaman's time to try the Fnatic Death Bush. You know, they've got a pink in there, they don't know they're in there. I see Clint and Thula on the bot side. Renekton finally takes a lead in terms of levels. As we see pings coming on the top side, and Thula's just taking a lot of damage. Well, pop the Dominus here for the set. But even with that, we see the proc of the Stack's Gauge, and now Set in the face is looking to come in help as Thula will finally get a solo bolo onto the Set, but will probably pay for his life here. Set in the face will pick up Thula, but in doing so, Diamond Esports are gifted a Baron.
I mean, you know, I'm not a man of business. I don't do a lot of investment.
Oh, not less. What are you doing? Not less. Come on.
Will you say a kill for a Baron is a good trade?
No. This game is
definitely.
We see a surrender. I hear reports of surrender, and looking at the gold graph, like that's big.
Yeah.
The biggest problem is as we've said multiple times, it's just the final moments in these team fights are just not there. They get the engage, they've got all the tools, they have everything they need. It just doesn't quite materialize. And yeah, I mean, look here, you know, Renekton plays this really well, and this is where he's bided his time. You know, he's got his items, and now he's starting to be a bit of a threat here in the side lane.
Your set no longer kills him. Like, that was your advantage. That set was fed, and he's no longer even winning this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, if we look in the picture, it's not as... I don't even know what he's trying to do there. I know Day Zero's on the other team, but I don't think you ever win that. You don't have Smite. But we are seeing on the picture-in-picture, they are fighting down here in the bot lane. There was a bit of a scuffle in mid lane as well, as Clean wants to go back in. The face metal this time was a lot of damage onto this Renekton. But Movement's there to try and tidy up his top laner. He is going to get spotted up by the Scry's. Boom, yep, he will spot him. As we see a big fight starting to brew in mid lane. Here we go, we see Dr. Duck on the side looking with A0, trying to kill some vision. Maz and Rona in the mid lane, ready to engage. Seraphine will take a brief rest. We'll go back, take a pause.
Yeah, but the crystals have
come back in.
That's pretty much true.
Yeah, I mean, that turret's gone. But the Rylai's is now on the Seraphine as he gets a 2-man encore. It doesn't quite hit the Xayah as everyone's going to engage. We see Diana going with the Moonlight onto the Xayah. A lot of damage, a lot of knockups. And this time, we are seeing Jazz with gas. The trade is finally going major, and they will pick up a shutdown onto the Braum, who hadn't died before that. And this is the first time we've seen the team fight one more combo really come through, and they want more. They want the Xayah as well. The barrier comes out, the shutdown goes onto the Nautilus. Probably not who you want to go on, but either way, that is a lot of kills over to the side with Jazz Gas. And Thula looking in on the Seraphine here on the backside. Will get stunned up with a W. Seven will get to a tower and doesn't quite survive. The shields are not enough. And with this Baron push, they might be able to do a bit of damage. Oh no, they're going to decide against it. And that's at least something back for the side of Dilliman as Soul Point spawns in 10 seconds.
Yeah, really unfortunate from that. He approached the explosive plan, went to basic attack it, and he was away from the range. You were able to see the combo from the Diana and the Yasuo working amazing, as we were saying. And the Nautilus ult. Like, you got all the CC, everything you wanted, and you still didn't manage to touch damage. Yes, it worked, but...
Yeah, and we are at Soul Point here, and Nautilus is just dead. He's very
out
much
of
safe.
position.
Yeah. And you just can't do that when Dragon's up, you know. As much as,
especially when it's sold.
Well, that's exactly it. It would be fine, maybe first out next, never. Fine if we move, go in with a bandage shot and we'll land the curse sad mummy. And Set does a lot of damage to the back line, but it's not enough. Seraphine is nowhere near the fight. She can't get an angle. Will eventually get the ult, but doesn't even hit the low health Braum. And I fear she's dead as well. And what was looking so good for at least a moment there for the side with Jazz with gas. I'm afraid the saxophone's now out of tune. The microphone is dead on the ground. And I can hear the fat lady singing in the background. This should be one of the final pushes for the side of Dilliman Esports. And in the end, yeah, that should be just game. In the end, a game that it should have been a lot closer than it was. For the side of Jazz Regas, there's a lot of good stuff, but in the end, it is going to be a swift 2-0 for the side of Dilliman Esports. And yeah, big GG's to the side of them. They have turned up and they have decided they want to continue their winless, not the winless streak, their winning streak, and go 2-0 in the MiniLCS Winter Open 2026.
I don't know what to tell you, man. We saw it during the Champion Select. They were drafting Peel. Jazz decided to commit to the engage, and the Seraphine no building damage was the final nail in the coffin.
Genuinely, this is something which I'm an advocate for an APC playing an APC's role. Going double support, which is basically what they did, gets you nothing. And you saw, as soon as these items came in, as soon as the Xayah started getting her damaging items, it just fell off for Jazz Regas. because Seraphine couldn't
Yeah.
match it. Your Set's doing so much more damage. You know, your Diana, you know, Mumu and the Braum have magic resist for that, even with the Seraphine. So, yeah, I think it's a missed opportunity for Jazz Vegas. There was a lot of good stuff, but they just got caught too many times. And Dillerman Esports, they can only beat what's in front of them, and they showed up and they played a hella good series.
Yeah, but I will say Jazz had a good game. Everything that happened bad in this game was preventable. Maybe there were some mistakes I will call out, like, for example, the Nautilus being caught of position all the time, but the itemization and the champion picks, I will say, that needs to be better. You had so much opportunities to switch the whole thing around. I don't like the Yasuo. I don't like the... Well, you do love the Seraphine. I think Seraphine could have worked. Maybe I would probably advocated for a 6. I think 6 would have done the poke roll a little better.
I think if Seraphine builds properly, the game's completely different.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Your Seraphine building properly, it didn't have the right runes because it was not going electrocute. Diana was there for the burst on the champions and was not bringing electrocute. Your set was building HP items against a Renekton who already had Blade of the Ruined King. Like, those are things that you can change for the better, and it's not a matter of your mechanical failing. That's just a knowledge check. Like, it's not gonna work.
But that's just, we're starting to see the difference between teams that have a really cohesive group, have a clear game plan, and actually understand maybe more the meta, whereas teams that are playing with comfort, playing with things that they trust, that they think is going to work, when in reality, if you look at the comp, if you look at the way the game's going, it's the annoying thing is it's so many missed opportunities. Jazz Vegas should have won this game with the draft. However, Dillerman Esports, they came out and they showed up and they did what they needed to do. They won the fights when it needed winning. They built properly. They itemized correctly. And honestly, they're a really scary team in this division. Especially now, they're pretty much 2-0. And it's going to be really hard, I think, now for them to miss playoffs. I could be wrong. But going 2-0 gives you a really good shot of at least being in that top 4. Or top 8.
I will say Mad and Hagnims have been amazing at putting the team on their back. Dillerman has been playing teams in which the rest of the team builds for them and they managed to pull off. This game, that Syndra, that Sasha was amazing. Yes, they're both being caught off guard early on. They both died a few times, especially until the Syndra has enough cooldown for the Scatter of the Week to be more consistent, until Sasha has the ultimate. Like, you need to wait a little bit for them. They're not champions that are so aggressive early on, but they've been the stars of the team. I will say this game, I'll probably give the MVP to Mad.
I actually think so too, across the series.
Both him and Agnes were amazing this line.
Yeah, I mean, game 1, the Kaiser was really strong and done its job. Game 2, the Xayah, he didn't take a fight which was bad. He took every fight that was just right, and that's what he needed to do in this game. And obviously, shout out to Rona as well. You know, a really, really solid mid laner, knows exactly what he needs to do. And in this game, you know, the Syndra was nigh unkillable for a lot of the game. But you also have to shout out, you know, Dr. Duck on the Braum. I think he died maybe once or twice in that game. But again, the whole team of Dillerman Esports showed up today. So I'm intrigued to see how the rest of the season goes. Commiserations, Jazz Vegas. And I believe, talking of which, we have a short interview, Imadsk, coming right up here. Yeah.
Oh.
There we go. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah, baby.
What a game. I mean, you showed up today. Game 1, talk us through how you're feeling on that Kaiser.
We kind of made a mistake on our first pick, so we just decided to go dive. It's pretty simple.
What was the initial plan then? What had you initially planned to do?
That's the problem. We hadn't. We weren't certain what we wanted to play.
Okay.
You know what?
We went in, and we couldn't decide. We were speaking, I think, 3 people at the same time. So Jack just went
Standard day
to
zero
jungle
behavior.
and just locked in the Fury. Because I couldn't make up my mind on ADC.
That is standard day zero behavior, just talking over everyone. But at the end of the day, though, you know, game one, you guys, it was a bit rocky at times, but as soon as you hit that kind of 23-minute mark, you guys just turned on the gas and you just kind of won. What do you think was, for you as the ADC, was that the point where you're like, okay, I've got my items, I'm a champion now, I've got my evolutions, I can just start picking people off for fun?
I think that was just getting the 3 evolutions on Kaiser's like really big. It makes it a lot easier to play against pretty much anything, and also because we realized that we kind of just one-shot all their champions.
Yeah.
And that none of them are actually that tanky.
We were talking about that, like your team having so much damage.
Yeah, I mean that was one thing. You didn't have any damage missing. You were very damage heavy, but you guys won very comfortably. Before we come to World 2, what was your prediction for your last week? We see Misco wee bit of trash talk. I mean, out of that performance, I have to favour you guys.
I mean, Misco, listen. All I'm saying is, if we hit a smite, we win the game. Now that is a if.
Talking of.
But
Yeah,
like,
talking of
if we do, you lose.
Talking of that, yeah, Daisy was still a bit trigger happy on that smite. We saw a few times where it was maybe not quite as secure as it should have been. Whether it be the Rift Herald in that last game, Scuttle in the first game. But I speak for myself. I did not expect game 1, and even sometimes in game 2, to be seeing D0s stealing dragons. How, like, what were the comms like at those moments?
I mean, you gotta understand, it's a new day, it's a new week. Yes, that's just the smites are hitting today. I think all in all, we were really excited about it though. We took a lot of risky fights on Drake and on Rift Herald, but we were happy about the outcome and happy about actually getting the objectives when the fights went good at the same time.
Well, that's it. And then obviously, game number 2, obviously we saw the role swaps. Did you have any idea or any inclination that was happening?
I believe I was told someone was role swapping. I didn't pay attention to who was swapping with who. I was fairly certain it was going to be Miso in bot lane. I will admit I did not expect Seraphine though.
Not gonna lie, neither did I. I didn't. As much as I'm a very big advocate, as you well know, of the Seraphine APC, I didn't expect in the bot lane. But at the end of the day, you know, you on the Sire, you had to come. Well, it was a bit rocky in parts at the start of the game, but come late game, you just kind of took complete control on the side. I mean, there were so many fights. I look back to that one of the last ones at the Dragon Pit. You know, you were waiting for that Braum, that layer of security. But as soon as he came, you guys basically just diced everyone up with the feathers.
Yeah, I mean that's just the Sire late game for you. She's really, really strong, and I mean, with crit buff, she's like mega strong right now. And as long as the comps are good for her, yeah.
I will ask the question. Compared to your opponent in both games, you were there in every team fight, and you were being able to keep yourself from a safe distance, dealing damage consistently, keeping your front line in front of you, which was something that your lane opponents were not being able to pull as much. They were showing up late for the team fight, especially the Seraphine. She will usually arrive when the team fight was off. how do you guys feel confident about your calling? Who is leading the calls? Who is deciding where to go? Because it seems to be working really well for you.
Right now, it's our support that's actually making most of the calls on when we should do bot.
I mean,
so
that's vital. Yeah, I mean, that's the vital thing. You need someone in the team to take charge and make the calls, whether it's ADC, support, jungle. Jungle calls can get a bit spicy, especially when DayZero's behind the wheel. But at the end of the day, you know, Dr. Duck is obviously leading a masterclass there on the Rift. Have you got any trash talk for the teams you're about to come against? You've got 2 weeks to go in the regular season, I believe, unless you're one of the 5-team brackets. I think you're a 4-team bracket.
14 or 3.
But yeah, is there anyone you want to call out?
I do have some trash talk for my enemy ADC in the last game there.
Okay.
And that is just very simple. You can't take the APC against me, man. It doesn't work. I know them all. I've played them all. I've seen everything in the bot lane, bro. You're never gonna win with them.
In fairness, though, I wouldn't call that APC. I'd call that secondary support, because that's all.
I agree. I was saying that in the game. Holy shit.
The
support ADC, bro.
Yeah, it's such a waste of the extra income. But at the end of the day,
everything there.
Yeah, at the end of the day, though, you guys can only beat what's in front of you, and you did a fantastic job winning 2-0. Congratulations. Thank you for joining us on stream, and good luck with the rest of the games.
You're welcome. We will continue to beat them. Don't worry. Just for YouTuber.
So hopefully see a Seraph and APC from you. And yeah. And the day, as DayZero says, the day ends. And what a fantastic stream we had. You know, as much as we would love to have had a wee special stream, and we did get to see, it was a special stream in the end. We saw DayZero actually land a couple of smites.
And you got
and that's going to bode well. I wouldn't call that the good Seraphim. It's fine. Who knows? Who knows? You might see one if you watch the Zenith game this weekend, but only time will tell. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Beto, for joining me on the casting desk. We hope to see you on the next MiniLCS broadcast. But for now, I've been Tuba. That's been Beto. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Yeah.